They can't. We made them.
Now look, honey, you're gone and hurt yourself. Now come on, sweet thing.
Don't you sweet thing me.
I wanted you, baby. Just
They can't. We made them. You can! We made you! Some loyalty, you keep me! We made you! We made you! Oh, we made you!
On June 19th, 1987, at 9:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Earth passed into an extraordinarily diffuse tail of Rhea M, a rogue comet. According to astronomical calculations, the planet will remain in the tail of the comet for the next 8 days, 5 hours, 29 minutes, and 23 seconds.
Yeah. Yes. So
Why?
because
Why?
Stephen King does not know how to like portray
No!
that in a movie
Stop.
outside of
Stop.
just
No.
narrating it.
Share this once we get into that podcast.
No. He
Yes.
does not know how to do it outside of Stephen King. Stephen King does not know how to do it. He does not know how to set up a movie. This is the one movie, the only movie that Stephen King has ever directed,
Yep.
and I love it.
So what's
Okay,
the
so
name?
let's get into-
What's the name of the movie that we're talking about today, Lee?
Maximum Overdrive, 1986.
So start us off, Lee, with our opening.
All right, so this is the 1987, it came out in 87, thriller/comedy starring Commissioner Gordon, Lisa Simpson, Gordon Bombay, with special appearance by Gus Fring, with music by AC/DC.
Now,
There is no other way to address this movie. If you have ever followed us, you understand everything I just said.
there's no other way to address this movie if you are Lee.
Come on.
For the rest of us, we say
Come on.
Emilio Estevez, and we
Oh.
say the actual actor's name. But hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Black and White Reviews.
You just had to.
My name is Chuck,
So,
My name is Lee.
my name is Will.
and today we're talking about Lee.
Maximum Overdrive,
He's,
the
yeah.
1987 thriller/comedy starring Commissioner Gordon. I already said
You already said it.
Today we are talking about the 1987 movie The Happening, directed by
The Happening Part 1.
M. Night Shyamalan. I'm sorry, this movie is The Happening 20 years
I'm
old.
sorry. This movie is the original Maximum Overdrive, and M. Night Shyamalan was like, that was fun. Let me make my own movie about plants that talk to people and kill people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the tale of a comet that awakens some machines and not the others,
No,
and want to kill people.
not
Yeah.
all of them.
Mm.
Just some of them.
That's what I said.
Yeah, just some of them. Yeah. So the funny thing about this movie is like we brought this up and Will was like, I'd love to do that movie. And I'm like, really? Because I remember this movie being a movie from my childhood that I said, oh man, this movie's amazing 'cause it's so bad. As a kid, I was like, this movie is so stupid. I would love to talk about this movie for the rest of my life. And I'm so happy we're finally talking about it. I never thought it would happen. I never thought it would. On June 19th, 1987. That's a little over a year before I was born. This all happened.
No, it didn't.
Why wouldn't I be so excited about it?
Why? I'm going to say this.
What are you gonna say?
I brought a movie to us to watch about a trip to Europe. and when we got on here and it was Will's turn, Will explicitly said, I hate you, Chuck. I hate you, Chuck, for making me watch this movie. This movie was horrible. Now, with all the love in my heart, I want to say I hate you, Lee, for making me watch this movie. This was the worst movie. This movie is horrendous. There's no ending. There's no plot. There's no middle. There's no nothing. There is, okay, the most intriguing part of this movie is there is a girl who hitchhikes who sleeps with Emilio Estevez. Other than that, nothing happens in this movie.
I honestly love the stupid character dynamics of this movie.
There were no character dynamics in this movie.
There
What?
were.
A truck was a green goblin. That's the most character growth in this movie.
Listen, don't talk negative about Happy Toys. All right,
Oh,
Happy
I am.
Toys.
I will. I have a lot to say about this movie. Ugh.
No, this movie. Let's. All right, Chuck, keep going. What else do you hate about this movie without getting into it?
Without getting into it,
Yeah.
I hated the acting. I hated the writing. I hated the CG in the movie. I hated the special effects. I hated the plot. I hated the writing of this movie. It was horrendous. I hated every aspect of this movie. I hated that some machines come alive and some don't, and there's no explanation as to why. Oh, sorry. There was one explanation when they hid behind the truck and he goes, "Oh, there was one line. It must have been low on fuel." Really? Really? The fact that every person who gets shot up in this movie gets shot up with 800 bullets. The fact that rocket launchers have multiple rounds loaded into it and no one knows how. The sky is magically green. You wouldn't see the tail of a comet wrapped around the Earth. None of this would be possible. This whole thing is stupid.
Aurora Borealis. It's an Aurora Borealis.
Not the same.
It is. That's why it's green.
The fact that
it's
a
Aurora
10-year-old
Borealis.
Whatever. A 10-year-old kid has more thoughts in his mind about how to experience this and get it around this versus most of the adults in this.
Yes.
And the funniest part about this whole thing is we created you. Like, what? What?
We made you.
That woman is that waitress is the best part of this movie.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
How Emilio Estevez went from this movie to not 10 years later became the star in Mighty Ducks is beyond me.
Not 10 years, very less than 10 years.
That's why I said not 10 years.
Very less than.
Hence why I said not
far at all. What year?
94. So 5 years later.
The first Mighty Ducks, 94?
I think so, yeah. That's why I said not 10 years later. It's there. This was all around a horrible movie. There was not. This was the biggest waste of my time this past week. And I split it up into 3 or 4 different watches, and I was like, I am so mad. If this is how Will felt when he watched Eurotrip, Will, I am so sorry. Will, I apologize from the bottom of my heart for making you watch that movie. Because if this is how you felt when you watched that movie, this movie was horrible. I don't know what he's doing, but he just slammed the door. This movie was bad. Bad. From all around bad. There's nothing. There's no plot. There's no ending to this movie. Like this whole thing takes 7 days and it ends 2.5 days into it. Why? Oh, and the best part is the survivors from this event to this day are still survivors.
Like,
why? What was the purpose of this movie?
There isn't one.
Is this how the book ends? Because I'm not going to read the book.
I never read Trucks, so I don't know. So you liked it?
No. I have so much to say about this movie.
I look. There are bad movies, and then there
there's
are
this movie.
and then there are bad movies. This movie, oh god, this movie is horrible, but it's fantastic. Listen, I love this movie. I've loved this movie ever since I was a kid. I was just saying, I love this movie. I've loved this movie ever since I was a kid. It is amazing. It is the right amount of like. It is corny. It is cheesy. The dialogue is bad. But it's awesome because trucks are just running amok for no reason at all, and it's awesome. You're not supposed to ask questions. You're not supposed to wonder why the trucks are. You just accept that the trucks are doing this, and you have this group of people who have to like find their way to survive through it, and they do. The characters are ridiculous. Every single one of these, every single one
stayed in the building the whole time and
until the end.
Until the end.
Until the end. When if they stayed in the building, they'd all have all died. Yeah. So shush there. Buddy.
I think.
They got out at the exact right moment to not be dead.
This is
only because they filled them up with fuel.
Yes, exactly. Get out and not die.
Yeah,
if they didn't fill up the trucks with fuel, guess what would have happened?
They would have ran out of fuel.
They would have died.
No, the trucks would have just been stuck there, and nothing would have happened.
Nothing would happen.
All the other trucks were coming there.
Only
Happy
because
Toys was the regime.
Only because Emilio Estevez says we have the best stuff in town. Tell all your friends.
Yeah,
they communicate.
Yeah, they don't.
CB. Morse code through CB. Morse code.
He's the best drug dealer in the whole country.
I got the best stuff in town.
Movie. I love this movie.
This is one of those movies.
He says we have the best stuff on the East Coast, is what he says.
This is one of those movies like
stuff on the East Coast.
Like if you go back and you watch Total Recall for the first time today, it's a bad
original
movie.
So good.
Only because we grew up with it.
Well, yeah.
If we went today and just watched it for the first time, it would not be good. I think I watched it for the first time way too late. Because if I watched this back in the early 90s, maybe, if I didn't know a thing or two about movies, maybe I might grow up with this movie and say, oh, this is a great film. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. I love how cheesy and corny. I mean, it's cheese the whole way through. It's corny the whole way through.
I think AC/DC makes it cheese. AC/DC's music.
AC/DC's music is awesome in this movie. AC/DC's music is awesome. Yeah. Yes.
Makes it so cheese and so like amazing cheese. We're like, this is 1986.
It wasn't even.
You know what? Live on.
You know what the weird thing is about AC/DC in this movie is, and I don't know how Stephen King got it or what he had to do, but he had the raw tracks because there's different mixes of some of these songs going on in this movie. And I'm like, where did you get the instrumental to Ride On with only, Angus and Malcolm going Ride On in the background? Where's Bon in that? It's like, it's so wild. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, how is this an instrumental? Where you can't find this. He got that means that somebody in the production studio putting together the mix for this movie got a hold of the raw tracks for some of these songs, and it's wild to me that happened. That's insane. I loved it.
If a movie starts off with credits saying "and music by AC/DC,"
with their logo,
they had full rights. To use those tracks.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you're right. Yes, you're right.
It wasn't like they found them.
No.
So it was just like Queen did. Oh, geez, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, but those were.
It was like they were tracks made just for the movie.
Those were the tracks made for the movie. I'm talking about when you.
And they were tracks made just for this movie too.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But no, AC/DC in this
movie.
When Queen did Highlander.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Queen did Highlander, Queen did Flash Gordon. AC/DC did Maximum Overdrive.
Yes, they did.
And that's why this movie is something that will never leave from Will and my memory bank of love.
all
The
I
movie
never-
is so dumb and so stupid, but we listen to it and we watch it. We go, "Oh, I love AC/DC."
I will
'Cause
never willingly
mostly
choose
about
to
the
watch
music.
this movie again, ever. I will.
what
I
makes
will,
it what
like,
makes it even better is this movie is so sloppy, but
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like it mixes very well with how sloppy Angus is as a guitar player. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Angus is Chuck. I'm sorry. Angus Young
Angus,
is a
the lead
really
guitarist.
he's a really
not the rhythm
sloppy.
guitarist, the lead
He's
guitarist.
known for his sloppy guitar style. So in this movie, it fits so well. It's a perfect marriage. It's fantastic.
It really is.
Even on the track that they did that was made for this movie, like the theme or the score or whatever like that, where he's doing that really simple blues solo in the background, it's like it's so distinct to Angus Young,
Yeah.
and it's like it really it hits.
So-
This
so
movie
here's-
is I'm sorry, this movie is amazing, Chuck. I don't know, this movie is
a music video.
this movie
Here's
is
my question.
this movie is
How do you guys-
awesome.
How do you guys like this movie but hate The Happening?
Because they're happening in a horror soundtrack.
So if The Happening had a journey in
Because
the
the
background whole
happening,
time,
you know
it'd be
why?
okay.
Because
Maybe.
the happening took itself seriously. This movie does not take itself seriously at all.
Not one
It
bit.
is camp,
Not
and
one
it's
bit.
meant to be camp. There's nothing about this movie that screams, "We're taking this serious. This is a real problem that we have on our." None of that. The happening was something different. The happening was like,
So
we have to take this.
Emilio Estevez was like as serious as he could be in this
Emilio
film.
Estevez was surprisingly awful in this movie. Like,
Yes.
he's so bad in this movie.
Don't make me a widow. Like,
Oh
like,
man.
That's Lisa Simpson. Being,
Yeah.
I mean, what else is your
Before Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie.
It
Oh
was-
yeah.
this
man.
movie was annoying. I was frustrated watching this film. I'm like, how is this an hour and a half? Like, and all of a sudden they're like, they're escaping the way the kid came into the place, and they're escaping, and they're getting out, and all of a sudden, they set up for this big to do with the Green Goblin, and then boom, nothing. Like nothing happened. Nothing happened. There was no final climax.
No. No.
They set it up for a final climax when the Green Goblin shows up at the marina, and then what happens?
Spoiler.
Nothing. Nothing. A big nothing.
Let's
No.
not spoil the movie, Chuck.
It's
No.
like, how did the happening end? How did the happening end?
I
Oh,
don't
it stopped
remember.
blowing wind.
Why am I talking to a plant? Why am I still talking to a plant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This movie.
It was horrible.
It is. It's horrible.
It is, but we get it, we know it, and we still
I get
love
it. I get it. I get this
This is a
movie.
guilty pleasure for. This is a guilty pleasure for both of you.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that
I would say that
Will-
too, yeah.
I'm actually very impressed, Will. When you said you liked this movie, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one who liked this
No.
movie.
No.
And I like it only for it's such a bad film,
Yes.
but it's also so like there are so many memorable parts. When I rewatched it this time, I was like, yes, I remember this. I remember all of these things. And then when that scene, which we'll get into, I guess, when the kid's the best actor.
He's
He's
the
the
only one
best
who's
actor.
trying. This
He's the
kid on
only
that
one who's
bike
really-
is the
and he
only
nailed
one
it.
who cares about any of this. He's the only one who
he
cares about
nails it.
acting in this movie. Everybody else is
Exactly.
completely phoning it in. No one else, yeah, whatever, we're just
Emilio
doing this.
Estevez was not phoning it in this film.
Emilio
Yay!
Estevez was absolutely phoning it in.
Emilio Estevez wasn't even on the screen until he wasn't even known until a movie like this.
Breakfast Club came up before this.
True. 87, year before.
Yeah, and it
And
was
Breakfast Club came
equally
out
as
in
good acting.
85.
Oh, you're right.
Breakfast
Even
Club
further.
came out
And
in
he-
85. And he was
And then
he
there was
was
Outsiders 86.
well, the only reason
Which was then.
why
I'm
nobody
sorry, you're
really
right. You're absolutely right. Emilio Estevez sitting in a chair for 2.5 hours in detention is fantastic acting compared to
Mitch.
this. come on. Let's. I am not going to stack anybody's acting up
Yes.
and use Breakfast Club as the benchmark of
Fine.
acting ability.
No, you cannot find anything negative to say about Judd Nelson in that movie. You can't.
No, you can't.
Judd Nelson
can't.
is amazing in The Breakfast
He
Club. Don't
nailed
even
that
try.
role.
Don't even try to say
Beginning
that he
to end.
wasn't. Stop.
Nailed it.
And
Stop
you're going to
it.
say that. Okay,
Stop.
I'll give you that. But you're going to say Emilio Estevez was better in that movie than he was in this?
Yes.
In
Emilio
what
Estevez
way?
was much better in The Breakfast Club than this.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything in the Breakfast
Yeah, but
Club.
at least in The Breakfast Club, he had a story. He had a problem with his dad. He was a wrestler. He didn't really know. He didn't know what he wanted to
story
do,
in this,
blah,
too.
blah, blah. No, he
Oh,
didn't.
oh,
No, he
what?
didn't
Oh,
have a
what?
story in this. He got laid. That was his story in this movie. That was
Yeah,
it.
but he owed the guy money. I mean,
He owed what guy money?
the guy,
A guy.
no,
A guy.
I owed a guy money.
A guy
We're-
money.
he owed
Okay.
the owner of the place money.
Nope. No, he owed a dude money.
He owed a dude money.
Stole money from a grocery store and got arrested. And the guy he's working for, whose name is Bubba, who he called everybody Bubba. So now I'm really confused because apparently a dude named Bubba calls everybody Bubba. He owes him money
He owes.
because he's got his butt. And again, Commissioner Gordon Bombay. I'm sorry. Lisa Simpson and Gus Fring. Special appearance. Gus Fring. Gus Fring is the best part of this movie because I watched it, and as soon as I saw him again, I'm like, it's Gus!
He looks like a child.
Oh, dude, he's like 17.
Easy.
I missed him in this.
Oh, he was the guy who got wrecked by the pinball machine.
Yeah. When the cigarette machine and everything was
yes.
spitting that was Giancarlo
Yes.
Esposito. Yeah.
And he was like, ooh, he's getting all the cigarettes. We'll
He's
talk about
packing
it.
himself in.
Yeah.
That was him?
Giancarlo Esposito. As soon as I'm like, dude, that's Giancarlo Esposito. I knew it. And it was later on. I pulled it up. I'm like, dude, there he is in his glory. So great.
Yes, sir.
He has done so much that most of us don't even remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
He's been around for a long time.
The first thing I remember seeing him in was either Nothing Left to Lose, which we talked about, but never fully talked about. Nothing Left to Lose. And Monkey Bone.
Oh my God.
And that was like 97, maybe? Monkey Bone.
Okay.
Remember Monkey Bone?
Okay.
All right. So did you guys like this
Go on.
movie?
Absolutely.
Of course.
We love this movie. This movie is the worst, best movie ever.
No, it's
Because Stephen
It's
King
one of
directed
them.
it. Oh, okay. Are we gonna get into the movie? No.
You
we're
want
not.
to?
No. Will and I love this movie because of what it is. Do we think it's the greatest movie we've ever seen? Absolutely not. It is a garbage movie.
I
but
admit
we
that it's
love
crap.
This
This
movie.
is a crap movie, but it's
It's
awesome.
But we love it. We love it, but it's garbage. This is not in our top 10, but it's our top 10 in movies we want to make fun of and laugh at.
Oh, it's in my top 10 worst movies ever. Oh, this movie was.
Truck.
So for the rest
Transition
of
us.
this riveting,
Thank you.
So for the rest of this riveting conversation on video, follow us on patreon.com/black and white reviews. Follow us, comment, like, share on all of our social medias. Instagram and YouTube is at Black and White Reviews 1866, and Facebook is at Black and White Reviews. With that being said, we're gonna slide right into.
It's not working.
No.
Oh, now it's working.
Hey.
Spoiler territory.
Yes.